Good evening, everyone. It is 5:01 p.m. on March 31st, 2022, and we will now begin this public meeting. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Florida Department of Transportation's virtual public meeting for the I-95 at 6th Avenue South project. My name is Adam Naeem, and I am the project manager with the Florida Department of Transportation, District 4. With us here this evening is our consultant team of specialists that helped develop this project. We have Paola Riveros, who is the consultant project manager. We have Robert Behart. We have Maureen Balmaceda, our community outreach specialist. We have Mike Malberger, our noise specialist. And we have Jim Ju, our ITS specialist. At this time, we would like to recognize all federal, state, county, and city officials who are present with us today. I do see that we have Mayor Betty Resch, City Commissioner Sarah Malega, and County Commissioner Greg Weiss. Please raise your hand if you want to be recognized and introduce yourself. Sarah Malega has raised her hand.
Hello, Commissioner Malega, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Commissioner.
Hi, I just wanted to thank you for this very important meeting. It is imperative to our community that they have as much knowledge as possible before this big construction project starts. And I just wanted to take time to thank you very much for reaching out to the community and making it accessible to all.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for attending, Commissioner. Any other elected official that would like to speak? No?
Greg Weiss says.
Right.
Which starts
Commissioner
at
Weiss.
6:30, 6:45.
Thank you. Good afternoon. And I just want to thank you for hosting this community meeting. I know you're going to be doing an in-person meeting shortly, but appreciate you making it available virtually as well, so many people can participate. And I look forward to learning more about this project. Thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Commissioner Weiss, for attending. All right.
All right, moving on.
Oh, wait, Mayor Resch.
Okay.
Hi, I just figured out how to do this. Sorry about that.
All right, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. I also just want to thank you all. Is the 6:30 meeting going to be much different than this, or is it's going to be a repeat of what we're doing here now today?
It will be a repeat, and people will be able to ask questions at both. Although in this meeting, we will be cutting questions off at 6 p.m. because we have to prep for our in-person meeting. But all the questions that were submitted that we did not get to at the end of this meeting, the answers will be posted on our project website, and we will display the information for the website later on in the presentation.
Okay, great, because you know this is going to be a very big importance to a lot of our citizens that live down around that bridge. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you. And we will be categorizing and essentially really looking for any and all input. And we'd like to extend a thank you to all the attendees on this meeting.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Okay, doesn't look like we have any other elected officials. Oh, I'm sorry. Jill Carlin. Looks like Jill is an elected official. I'm trying to unmute. It just takes a while. All right, Jill Carlin, if you can unmute yourself for us to hear you. We see that you typed in that you are an elected official.
I did not type in I'm an elected official. I typed in there was an audio problem, but it got
Oh, I
fixed.
see. I'm sorry.
But I'll speak later. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Jill. Apologize for that. All right. It doesn't look like we have any more elected officials, so you.
All right. We will start this evening by going over some technical information to enable you to better engage in tonight's meeting. We will also review FDOT's non-discrimination policy. Next, we will provide an overview of the project, existing conditions and proposed roadway improvements, the temporary traffic control plan, and the schedule and costs for this project. Finally, we will have a question and answer session, and we'll provide you with some key project contacts. I will now hand it over to Maureen Balmaceda, who will be our moderator for this evening.
Good evening. This public meeting is being conducted in a hybrid format to provide multiple ways for the public to receive information about the project and provide input. This format uses both a virtual and face-to-face component. Immediately following this online meeting, we will be hosting an in-person meeting at the FDOT Palm Beach Operations Center. Before we start the presentation, we would like to share some information to help you participate in the meeting. We are using the GoToWebinar platform for the meeting. There is no cost to the public to log in or dial in to participate in the meeting. For our online participants, on your computer or device screen, you should see something that looks like the image in the right corner. To listen to the meeting, your computer or device speakers are selected by default. If you prefer to listen by phone, select phone call in the audio pane of the control panel and dial in using the information provided. The blue arrow points to the question pane. You can type a comment or question into the question pane at any time during the meeting. Then click Send to submit your comment or question to staff. The questions submitted will be answered after the presentation. If your question is not answered before 6 p.m., the answer will be posted on the project website provided at the end of the presentation. If you are participating via telephone and have questions or comments, please call the FDOT project manager at 954-777-4440 or at adham.naim@dot.state.fl.us after the meeting, and a response will be provided. His contact information is also provided at the end of the presentation. The Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting either the Florida Department of Transportation District 4 Title VI Coordinator or the Florida Department of Transportation Statewide Title VI Coordinator. The contact information for these officials are shown on the screen. As part of the Florida Department of Transportation Safety Campaign, the Safe Mobility for Life program and coalition wants Florida's aging population to stay safe and mobile for their lifetime. Individuals can learn how to achieve safe mobility for life through the Safe Mobility for Life 3 keys, which are understanding the impact aging has on driving, be proactive about safe driving skills, and plan for a safe transition from driving. To learn more, please visit www.safemobilitysl.com. We are here today to present the proposed improvements and design concepts to the I-95 at 6th Avenue South project in the city of Lake Worth in Palm Beach County. The project limits run along 6th Avenue South from Michigan Avenue to South C Street and include I-95 on and off ramps. The proposed design improvements were developed in order to address traffic spillback onto I-95, improve interchange operations, reduce congestion, and enhance safety at the city interchange. The proposed improvements will also address pedestrian and bicycle modes and will ensure that the project corridor continues to meet mobility and safety goals as travel demand continues to grow. Now, I will hand it over to my colleague, Paola Riveros, the Consultant Project Manager.
Thanks, Maureen. Good evening. As we go through the presentation, you will notice that the improvements and features will be highlighted with animations as they're being described. The proposed improvements include lengthening the turn lanes on 6th Avenue South, provide an exclusive right turn lane to the northbound on-ramp, add an additional right turn lane to the southbound on-ramp, lengthening the northbound left turn lane at A Street, and add 7-foot wide bike lanes on both sides of 6th Avenue South. The improvements also propose triple left turn lanes to the northbound I-95 off-ramp, triple right turn lanes to the southbound I-95 off-ramp. It also includes adding a third lane along 6th Avenue South under the I-95 bridge in the westbound direction west of the bridge. Additional improvements include replacements of all signal mast arms with pedestrian push buttons, new signing and pavement markings, including high-emphasis pedestrian crosswalks. Buffer bike lanes will be installed to delineate the bicycle lanes from roadway traffic. In addition, grease pavement will be used at conflict locations to enhance safety of bicycles. Also, upgrades to street lighting will be done throughout the project. This project will impact the railroad track, gates, overhead structure, and railroad house. All these items will be replaced. The railroad works will occur in 2 phases. Construction items displayed in red will occur in January 2023 before the roadway project. Items displayed in blue will occur concurrently with the roadway project at a later phase. 6th Avenue South currently consists of 4 12-foot lanes, a raised median. Sidewalks are provided along both sides of 6th Avenue South, and there are undesignated bicycle lanes in both directions beginning east of South of A Street and continuing west of I-95. West of I-95, 6th Avenue will be widened to accommodate new dedicated 7-foot bike lanes, a new auxiliary lane narrowing some existing through lanes. East of I-95 includes the narrowing of the existing through lanes with the addition of dedicated bike lanes in both directions. The northbound on-ramp currently consists of 12-foot lanes with an 8-foot wide left shoulder and a 10-foot wide right shoulder. The ramp will be widened to accommodate a merge lane and increase the width of the right shoulder from 10 feet to 12 feet. The northbound off-ramp currently consists of 4 12-foot lanes with an 8-foot wide left shoulder and a 10-foot right wide shoulder. The ramp will be widened to accommodate an additional 12-foot lane to provide triple left turn movements onto West 6th Avenue South. The right shoulder width will be increased to 12 feet. The southbound on-ramp currently consists of 2 12-foot lanes and a merge lane with an 8-foot wide left shoulder and a 10-foot wide right shoulder. The ramp will be widened to provide additional merge length, and the right shoulder will be widened to 12 feet. The southbound off-ramp currently consists of 12-foot lanes with an 8-foot wide left shoulder and a 10-foot wide right shoulder. The ramp will be widened and lanes will be reduced to 11-foot lanes to accommodate an additional lane, providing triple right-turn movements onto westbound 6th Avenue South. The proposed improvements require additional right-of-way on the north-south of 6th Avenue South between Michigan Avenue and the South Florida Rail Corridor, affecting 7 properties. The right-of-way coordination is complete, and all 7 parcels have been acquired. Now, I will hand it over to Mike Mulberger, our noise specialist.
Thank you, Paula. As part of the traffic noise reevaluation that has been conducted for the project, the department is currently considering an extension of the existing 18-foot noise barrier located in the southeast quadrant of the interchange. It is shown here, highlighted in green on the figure on your screen, and extends for approximately 500 feet to the east of the existing noise barrier and terminates right before Royal Palm Drive. The decision to provide the noise barrier extension is currently pending further review by the department.
Construction will be divided in 3 phases to reduce the impact on the community. Short-term lane closures will occur during non-peak hours, and access to business residences and adjacent to schools will be maintained at all times during construction. The construction work areas are displayed in red. The first phase of construction will occur on the south side of 6th Avenue South and the connecting I-95 on and off ramp. The eastbound traffic will be maintained by shifting the lanes and reducing the lane width. No long-term lane closures will be necessary. The second phase of construction will occur on the north side of 6th Avenue South and the connecting I-95 on and off ramp. Westbound traffic will be maintained by shifting the lanes and reducing the lane width. Westbound railroad gates will be replaced in this phase. The third phase of construction will occur in the median along 6th Avenue South. Eastbound and westbound traffic will be maintained by utilizing the widened pavement to shift traffic. In addition, the areas shown in green will be reconstructed during this phase. During the reconstruction, the following 2 temporary detours will be necessary. The first detour is at Griswold Drive. While Griswold Drive is closed, traffic will be deterred to Rice Drive. The second detour is at Barber Avenue. While Barber Avenue is closed, traffic will be detoured to Wright Drive. The top layer of asphalt and pavement markings will be completed in the 4th phase and final phase.
FDOT has been engaging the public and stakeholders throughout the life of this project, starting with the Project Development and Environment, or also known as the PD&E study, kickoff meeting in June of 2016. This was followed up with the community in September of 2016 with the PD&E Alternatives Workshop, and a public hearing was held in August of 2017. The project is currently in the design phase, which is when the details are finalized before the project goes to construction. The design phase ends with the final plans scheduled in October of 2022. The project will then be awarded to a contractor, and roadway construction is set to begin in June of 2023. The estimated cost for the project is $9.3 million.
So this part of the public meeting is to hear from you. Comments and questions are welcomed from our participants. Staff will provide responses to questions as time allows. Any questions that cannot be answered today will be responded to in writing at a later date and posted on our project website. For online participants, you can type your questions or comments in the questions pane on the GoToWebinar control panel. Our dial-in participants who have questions can call the project manager's phone number and leave a voicemail. The telephone number is 954-777-4440, or email him at adham.naim@dot.state.sl.us. At this time, we welcome any elected official who may have joined us later and we did not get the opportunity to acknowledge, or any elected official with questions or comments. So Mayor Rash, it seems like you have a question. So I am unmuting you, and please let us know what your question is.
I've got two questions, actually. Well, one is, I'm wondering if you're going to come, can you hear me?
Yes,
We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, one is, are you going to come to the city commission and present this in public to our city? Because this is really a city issue, and we recently had a presentation about the 10th Avenue North overpass, which many of us had very strong feelings about what was being done up there. And by the time you came to us, it was a done deal. So that's my first question. I also wonder why this is happening, because it seems to be functioning the way it is. My second most important question, though, is landscaping. That 6th Avenue South, that the median on 6th Avenue South, and the areas on both of the sides of the exits and the entrances are bleak. There's a couple of Royal Poinciana trees. I go to other cities and I get off the highway and there's bushes and palm trees and it's lovely. And I see nothing on 6th Avenue South or 10th Avenue North, really. But 6th Avenue South, if you're going to be redoing it, what are your plans to landscape it?
So I can go ahead and answer those questions. The first is I'm more than open to attending city commission meeting. Obviously, the city's input is greatly valued. And also to clarify, we're not specifically doing any bridge work on I-95. This is mainly the road underneath.
Okay. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. So just to clarify, I think we aren't doing anything with the main line I-95.
Okay.
The second question is, following construction completion, there will be a landscape project following the roadway project, and that will directly address the entrances and exits.
And how will we have input into that? How will we find out about that?
While those plans are being developed, city staff will be copied on all of the plans submitted, and you guys will have an opportunity to comment on what plans go in where.
Great, thank you. And
You're
also,
welcome.
Ronaldo Diaz has joined us. You might want to welcome him. He's our newly elected commissioner.
I'm sorry, what was that person's name?
Ronaldo Diaz, I think he joined.
Okay. Wonderful. All right.
You don't see him?
Yes, Ronaldo Diaz.
Okay. I just wanted him to be recognized. He's our newly elected city commissioner, so I wanted him to be recognized.
Wonderful. Welcome, Commissioner Diaz. Thank you so much for joining us. If you do have a question or a comment, please raise your hand and we will unmute you, Commissioner Diaz. And then there are other commissioners with questions. So Mayor Resch, do you have any more questions?
Nope, I'm done. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. So Commissioner White, and please do correct me if I am mispronouncing any of the last names that I am pronouncing or mispronouncing. Commissioner White, I have unmuted you, so it looks like you are self-muted. If you would like to ask a question, please unmute yourself. Perfect.
Yes, good evening. My question is, have you already seen additional right-of-way been acquired for this project?
Yes.
So to answer that question, all right-of-way parcels have been acquired for this project. That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Did you have any more questions, Commissioner White?
No, thank you. Not at this time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So we have some commissioners. Okay. We have Commissioner Sarah Malega. I will be unmuting you. And please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Good afternoon, actually good evening now. My question is in regards to the bridge that's just west, actually just east of John Prince Park. There was rumor that you were going to be raising that bridge on 6th Avenue. Is that not true?
That is not true. So we are only incorporating work in the limits provided. And we are not raising any bridge.
Okay, do you know, does FDOT have another program where they are looking to raise that bridge? Because we were told that the integrity of the bridge had been damaged and that the bridge was going to be potentially raised.
So I do believe that that is a county project, and I'd be happy to get in contact with the proper county staff and relay that information to you.
So wouldn't that be, I just want to make sure, because if you're going to be doing the work on 6th Avenue and the county is raising the bridge, and those programs are both set to be happening around the same time from what I've heard, the raising of the bridge we've heard is going to take up towards to 600 days. I want to make sure that there's conversations happening between FDOT and the county in regards to all of these detours and the traffic that's going to be pushed through those neighborhoods.
And thank you for your input. Yeah, we are definitely reaching out to our counterparts at Palm Beach County, and we will be coordinating with them.
What I would like you to do is coordinate with me. That is my district for District 1. There's a lot of concern around Lake Osborne community in regards to these two projects. And if we could actually have a joint meeting with the neighborhoods, that would be very beneficial. And kind of give them a timeline on both projects and really reach out to the community in regards to this. I'd like to see a joint community meeting between you and the county with our neighborhood.
Yeah, I would love that as well.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you so much. And it looks like we do not have any other elected officials that would like to speak. Oh, Reynaldo? Yes. 1 second. Let me unmute you, Reynaldo. And we should be able to hear you now, Commissioner Diaz. Commissioner Diaz, can you hear us? We cannot hear you, Commissioner Diaz. Make sure you are not muted. The word of the century, it seems. Okay, well, we cannot mute you. If you do, we cannot hear you. If you do have a question, please type it into the question pane and we will read your question aloud. So as we have no more questions from elected officials or comments, we can move into our Q&A of questions typed into the question pane. As a reminder, if you do have a question, please make sure to type it into the question pane. And if we do not get to your question before 6 p.m., the answer to your question will be posted on the project website as displayed on the project screen. And for those on the phone, that is www.d4fdot.com/pbfdot/future_project_index.asp. All right, so
we will now read through the questions that have been submitted by our attendees. So I see a few questions here. Oh, Reynaldo Diaz actually, he asked the question.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can read that aloud.
Okay. Reynaldo Diaz stated, I am not muted. I believe my microphone just doesn't work. I wanted to ask if railroad safety improvements are being considered with the crossing arms and such. And yes, they are. We've had coordination with SFRTA, and they will be conducting their own construction before the roadway project in the configuration of the gates themselves. So they will be adding gates along the free flow right turn lanes and extending some of the gates as well.
Correct. Okay. Thank you so much, Commissioner Diaz, for your question. All right, can just go.
All right, I do see, so Jill Carlin does have a question about the sound barrier wall and whether it's going to be through Lakeside Point Gardens. Mike, you want to?
I can certainly answer that. Which neighborhood is that exactly?
Is there anyone who can unmute Jill?
We can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. And
Hi, thank you. I would prefer to speak my questions than to have you read them if I could. Yes, I live in Lakeside Point Gardens, and it's the big building on the hill. It looks like a factory or something. Most of the people that live here, I have 3 neighbors on my floor that are 93 years old. They've lived here for many years, and the increase in the sound is dramatic. And the construction will provide a lot of increase in sound. Old people don't want to have that. It is imperative to our quality of life that a sound barrier wall is provided. In addition, I feel that a couple of things. I thank you very much for the bike lanes. I think that's a vast improvement. We in the neighborhood, thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Betty, for all of your comments, because they're exactly our concerns, and we live here. And the problem is that these meetings occur after the fact. In a participatory design studio, meetings of this nature happen before you begin the project, so that you can get the neighborhood input as to how to proceed. And it might help the design characteristics, and it's fair. And so as a result of which, I feel cheated to have not known about this until now, because it already is a fait accompli. As Betty said when she first addressed she said, what's wrong with what's going on there right now? And basically what we're trying to do as a forward-thinking city is to reduce automobile traffic as opposed to increase it. And so by making these roads wider, and you're increasing the traffic. So the sound barrier problem is the first problem. The second problem is the increase of traffic and the need for speed regulation. So speed needs to be regulated there. The other problem is, as Sarah pointed out, the neighbors are very concerned about the bridge and about the height of the bridge increasing truck traffic to our neighborhood. When that construction goes on, it may also increase traffic in our neighborhood. And this is a, so to speak, quiet neighborhood. We live around a lake. There's wildlife, many of which are getting killed right now. There are speed bumps there. But I think it's a little short-sighted of the DOT to, or the FDOT to proceed without first speaking to the people that live and are being most affected by your plans. This you are doing. You've already got your plans. You spent hundreds of thousands of dollars already in making these plans. So we have no say in these plans. Our neighbors in Lakeside Point Gardens request a sound barrier wall. If that's the only thing we're going to get out of this today and not heightening the bridge, we will be very happy. Thank you very much. Next time, I really think it would be prudent and wise and helpful to address the neighborhood before you begin the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. As for the sound barrier wall, I don't have the specific details of the analysis in front of me. I can certainly provide them to the department. I do believe that that location was considered as part of our study, but it did not meet the department's requirements for reasonableness and feasibility, which has to do with the amount of noise reduction that's provided and how many residences it's provided for. If you could submit that in writing to Adam, the project manager for FDOT, I'd be more than happy to provide a detailed response to your question.
Jill, for your comments and concerns. And just to follow up, there, the PD&E, which was the planning and environment phase, did kick off in 2016, and we did have an alternatives workshop in September 15th of 2016 with the PD&E public hearing in August 3rd, 2017. So we did have multiple meetings prior to this. But that being said, thank you for your concern, and I understand that this is a very sensitive area, and in our design and in our we did take into account speed reduction. FDOT standards do have something called that really do revolve around reducing safety and reducing speed and increasing safety throughout the roadway. This project is actually an off-system roadway, and jurisdiction does fall with the county ultimately, not with a certain area being under the jurisdiction of FDOT. So as far as speed reductions go, you might want to you could direct those questions to your city and county commissioners, and they would be able to help you a little bit further.
I also would like to add that when we're reducing the lane width, it also affects the way the traffic travels. And so the lane width on the corridor are being reduced. So that also makes people go slower. So before we used to have 12-foot lanes, right now the proposed lane width is going to be 11-foot width lanes throughout the corridor of 6th Avenue.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jill. If you have any further comments, please insert them in the question pane, or please send our project manager, Adam, an email for further coordination. Okay. Want to address another question?
Yes. We also have a question from Mary Adam. Why is beautification not included in part of the full design? The concern is if it is not an any introduction of trees or others potentially not have room accounted for it. For example, with traffic calming, often trees in the middle road favor slower traffic as well as it makes the road nicer. So just to answer that question, due to funding restrictions, we are not allowed to add any landscaping in an active roadway project. However, we will be adding landscaping following the roadway project after construction is completed. And that landscape design team is coordinating actively with the roadway design team. So there will be seamless coordination between the two teams who will be designing it. And in areas such as that, you are absolutely right. Trees and beautification does have a place. Due to this being an off-system roadway, we really had to consider what was in the jurisdiction with the county and what was under the control of FDOT. And going forward, I would suggest if you would like to make that point known, please reach out to the county and city staff. All right, and we also have a question about detours from Montauk. Will you be informing residents in the area as to detour options and dates and locations of closures? Yes. So during the actual construction project phase, we will be having a construction open house following this one, as well as just prior to the detour coming in place, we will also have notifications being sent out to any affected residents. Yes. So we have a question from Rich. In 10th Avenue North, at I-90 was upgraded several years ago. Second upgrade, which is not happening yet, is needed. Will the upgrades to 6th Avenue South I-95 be done as a signal upgrade, or will there be a follow-up update after your plan is presented? Today is complete. I'm not too aware of the 10th Avenue North project. However, following your second question, the upgrade for 6th Avenue South and I-95 will be done in phases, but will be done within the same construction project.
Kathleen, PSO. Kathleen has a question, and it is very difficult to access I-95 North from Wright Drive because the traffic is so dense. Can you fix this issue? Seems like additional turn lanes will make this problem worse.
So following that, at a point, we're really looking at efficiency, and that's really where we're really trying to drill down on efficiency of the traffic signaling and the timing. So in regards to increasing capacity or increasing the efficiency of the signal timing, that's something that will be done as part of this project.
Okay. Looks like we have another question from Mary Adam. What traffic calming measures or safety measures are included in this project for the residents, considering widening of the road?
So the widening of the roadway is mainly, it's less for the vehicular traffic and more for the bicyclists. So the purpose of the widening is for a buffered bike lane. So with that, with the reduction of lane widths and bike lanes, we are essentially restricting the lane widths, and that has been proven to reduce design speeds, vehicular speeds, I should say.
Okay. Jill has another question. What is the price of this?
The price is $9.3 million.
Mary has a side comment to the actual project. We often hear that public meetings were conducted. However, the notification for these meetings were not conducted effectively by sending out to city and county residents in the area. To lead representatives of associations, HOAs, or civic associations, please consider this in the future. Thank you, Mary, so much for your comments. Notifications were sent to residents 1,000 feet from the center line of the project. But we will keep that in mind for the future. Currently, standards are 300 feet from the center line of the project, but we did extend it up to 1,000 feet in order to cover more residents of the area. But we will put the HOA presidents and the civic associations on the list for next time. Let's see. So we did answer Rich Raphael, single upgrade. Okay. We do have a comment from Mary Adams. Thank you, Commissioner Malega, for your comments. This is very true regarding Lake Osborne community concerns. We would like to see all entities talking with each other pertaining to projects transpiring at the same time and the impact it will have on the community for a long period of time. Our area is wildlife, families, seniors, schools, churches, etc. That all needs to be considered. Thank you. Okay. We did answer the beautification. We answered about detours. Okay. So we will be here till 6.
There's a question about the transcript of the meeting. The transcript of the meeting will be online.
Yes, we will be posting a recording of this meeting on the webpage that you do see online. For those on the phone, sorry, everyone. For those on the phone, that webpage is www.d4fdot.com/pb-future_projects_index.asp. And on that website, you will be able to look for the I-95 at 6th Avenue South project and click to see the details. And that is also where we will be posting the written answers to all the questions that we have received in our question cane.
So Mary asked a follow-up question. Can the question regarding current and future potential speed limit be answered? So as I stated before, we do have a design speed we are aiming for. However, posted speed and a speed limit, jurisdiction really does fall with the local entities. So I would suggest if anybody does have a concern with the posted speed limit, please direct that to the appropriate city and county staff.
Okay.
And Rich also asked, in the 5 years since the last meeting, have any additional studies been done on this project that involve the city and citizens? So we have been in coordination with Palm Beach County and working with them hand in hand with the approval, and because as they will be taking jurisdiction of 6th Avenue South following this project.
Okay. There's a comment in regard to local neighborhood access and egress points. Do you want to speak to that, Paula or Adam? What's this question? Just talking about the local access and egress points.
Okay. None of the access or and egress points are being modified as far as they're keeping the same. So all the medians and openings are staying the same as far as that. What's happening is on both of the off-ramps are getting an additional lane, but nothing within 6th Avenue South as far as the access management, or it will be changing in these areas. Can we make sure? How can we make sure, we have another question here. How can we make sure 6th Avenue South stays under the control of the city of Lake Worth? 6th Avenue is still under the city of Lake Worth.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's not changing as part of the project. Can the aerial view of the project be displayed, please? Yes, we could do that.
We would like to keep up the contact information for the project manager.
You can display this one.
You want to say that one? Okay. Okay. So this is the aerial view of phase 4 of the construction traffic control after the top asphalt and all of the pavement markings come into the project.
Right. This will be the final product when it's construction complete.
Okay. So we will be on until 6 p.m. We have 5 minutes left of this meeting. Please submit your questions if you have any. We are getting a transcript of the comments that are being received. And so all these questions and comments will be posted and they will be considered They will be posted on the project website. Mhm. Mhm.
What is the plan for connecting streets onto 6th Avenue as what that will look like? Just sod or wall or something else planned? So this connecting streets, there shouldn't be that much of an impact. If anything, we'd be slightly impacting radiuses for it to meet the widening, but typically, yeah, any disturbed area that was sod before would be remaining as sod following the project. Is there any way we can add tolls to reduce congestion rather than adding car lanes? So for I-95, Matthew, is that more of a question for I-95 or for 6th Avenue South? Both. So for 6th Avenue South, that's a little bit more of a loaded question as to jurisdiction, and FDOT can only really do what's within their right of way. We are committed, however, to really improving the efficiency and the flow of traffic while also maintaining safety and a true multimodal roadway, including bicyclists and pedestrians as well. So tolls, I'm not too sure about that on 6th Avenue South, but for I-95, we do have express lanes, but I'm not sure if they're coming through this area specifically.
Okay, it is 5:54. We have 6 minutes left. If anyone new has joined us, please enter your questions and comments in the questions pane located on your control panel. And if it is 6 p.m. and we have not reached your question, we will post the answer to your question on the project website. I will display the contact information for the project manager and for the project website on the website. Do you have a comment about signal timing?
Yes, I did see that.
Would you like to discuss
you mentioned,
corridor?
Yeah. Mary, you mentioned, or we have a question from Mary. You mentioned the adjustment to traffic lights and the timing. On the west side of 6, there are none. Concerned that this will not help prevent accidents. The traffic timing will help prevent the incidents that traffic will build up. As far as potential crashes as it relates to speed, especially west of 6th Avenue South and past I-95, I talked to some of the city staff and county to see what appetite they would have for lowering the posted speed limit. And like, especially the more noise that's made on speed, the greater chance it does get elevated to a point where you can really make a difference and lower the speed limit.
And to that, I also like to add that there is certain specific requirements to add a traffic signal, and so it needs to happen have a signal water analysis, but also it has to go with the spacing between each signal. So when you mention west of I-95, we can add another signal within the space that we're working because they're going to be very close to each other. So that's another restriction that we have in that area. Just remember, this project is only from Michigan Avenue to A Street, and between Michigan Avenue and A Street is a couple blocks, so there is no enough space to add another traffic signal. Okay. We have 3 minutes left. Okay, we have 2 minutes left in our meeting. And we have a new question from Matthew. Has any consideration been given to traffic circles? Yes. And we did have an analysis done to see if we could add any traffic circles in the area, but it was not warranted. So we also had to go through all the processes to make sure that we analyzed those. And we went through this. So it didn't pass. We have 1 minute left. You have a new question from Mary. Will the same format be presented in person? Yes, it will be presented the same way in person, but the attendees will be able to ask questions in person of the project team, and they will also be given paper forms if they would not like to speak in order to submit their comments. Their comments and questions will also be posted on the project website.
Okay. It is 6 o'clock. We encourage your input to help the department in providing you with the best transportation experience possible. Any additional comments or questions after the meeting, please submit them to me, Adam Naeem, the FDOT project manager, at the contact information shown on the slide. On behalf of the Florida Department of Transportation and our presenters, thank you for joining us today and have a good evening.